Hey folks, in today's video, I want to discuss upgrading to a M5, depending on what machine you have. I have an M1 Max. I want to just answer some questions of people who are considering upgrading from the M line series. I've seen a lot of things on Reddit from M1 Pro, M1, trying to get to the M5. I just wanted to give my take on my use cases as an amateur YouTuber and a video game addict to Dota 2 now as a dad mode. I think kind of my take of what I'll give you guys from a technical perspective, just kind of an average user, real life user, someone who makes videos on the side, travels, etc. And I want to stretch your guys' dollar because I know perhaps times are tough, and kind of realizing my value proposition to the market is just helping people, spend their money, hard-earned money to kind of make the most. So obviously what I'm showcasing on screen is the prices of some of the machines that you could get that people are having in discussions. The M5 from Apple, you go to Micro Center, get a new M4 Pro, and get a used M1 Max. So with all that said, that's what I aim to cover and hopefully answer your questions on this video. So obviously one of the first things to talk about is the amateur YouTube that I do. I'm not sure of anyone else's use case in terms of making videos, but obviously now with a kid here, just showcasing the videos you guys have seen on my channel, some of the behind the scenes stuff is just all Final Cut. It's my method of preference, though I do use DaVinci Resolve before, tested both of them. And every time I make a MacBook review, I prefer using Final Cut. Obviously, you guys can see I don't really push too much on this channel. I mean, it's, this is the year view, not a lot of content made, like not every week, obviously, and sometimes there's pauses. And so from a perspective, I've been reviewing everything from the M1 MacBook Air every year. And sometimes I do kind of like vlog like channels. On my personal, I don't comment too much, but I will say I've taken these devices traveling, even some of my gaming Windows laptops like the Legion. With that said, this previous video, the M2 MacBook Pro, was on a Southwest trip showing the portability. So kind of talking from that perspective, fits in a nice bag, fits on the airplane tray. Obviously, showcasing here, you can't fly first class every time. But that was with the Legion Zephyrus, sorry, the Zephyrus G15. And here with the M2 Pro, which is the same chassis that has been for a while as this M5, kind of the same portability. Likewise, showcasing Dota 2. I don't know if anyone ever noticed, but I almost have, well, I do have 6,000 hours of playtime. I've given a lot of praise to the Snapdragon X Elite on the Asus Vivo book. I will say from traveling, now I use a DSLR. Now that my kid's here, I want to take HD photos. The MacBook has an SD card slot while the Snapdragon has a mini. So in that comparison, obviously I have or what I'm trying to showcase and illustrate on screen here is I'm going back to Japan. Excited to take and eat more of this eel. If you haven't had eel in Japan, it's really good. And so, yeah, I'll be taking DSLR photos and maybe some iPhone. But with that said, from a traveler perspective, if you take this laptop out, I mean, I don't really make videos when I'm traveling, or sorry, I don't edit videos, to be honest, and I shouldn't be playing Dota 2 while I'm there. But sometimes now I find in my workflow in life, when the kid's sleeping and the wife's out, I'm just there and he's sleeping. Maybe I'll get, could play some games. We'll see how it goes on this trip. With that in consideration, I have reviewed the M4 MacBook Air, and I'm honestly considering, upgrading to the M5 MacBook Air when that comes out. So kind of what I'm showcasing on screen is when this video came out, I was considering actually keeping the M4 because it was pretty nice. You could see how fast it is on this speedometer test. Kind of like from a day-to-day, I do have a personal channel, but I kind of try to sometimes incorporate some of my video reviews into kind of my day-to-day life. Here I was traveling with some friends, taking the M4 MacBook Air. It was nice in the camera. So here showcasing kind of, some of the benchmarks that I posted in the videos of this series on the M5. You can see how the M5 is almost up there with the M1 Max. So with all that said, the M5 chip is really good, but in terms of what I'm kind of looking for in the future, I think I'm looking for more lightweight. And even though I just described, having an SD card for future travels, it's not a blocker as I do already have a USB dongle. So, with that said, I've come to the 14-day return window. I'm actually returning this machine. This is not saying it's an upgrade. For some people, as I mentioned, when money is tight, obviously I'm an amateur YouTuber. I don't have the luxury to just return things. I gotta contribute to the 529K for future college funds. But I will say, like, this is a great machine, depending on what your use cases or funds are. I'm just an average person, in my opinion, mostly browsing Reddit, sometimes playing video games. I think, if you play Dota or some casual games, this machine works out pretty well, even though it has 16 gigabytes RAM. I think crossovers accelerates pretty well here. Um, and yeah, that's my kind of quick take is just give you guys some perspective of kind of my use cases. This machine will do well, and the benchmarks have it great. If you need to upgrade from the M1 machines, maybe your battery life isn't lasting as long because honestly, my M1 Max doesn't last that long. So I have to kind of plug it in all the time. But for me, I'm personally going to wait for the 15-inch MacBook Air. So I hope you guys enjoyed kind of this take from a 2-week review as a daily driver. Obviously, using it fully installed, all my stuff, Teams, Flow, Slack, Cursor, everything was installed. I did like it did seem kind of more snappier than the M1 Max, but obviously M1 Max is no slouch either. And then with that said, I still do prefer gaming on Windows laptops, and the Snapdragon X Elite is something I play Dota, so I could get up to 7,000 hours. So yeah, you guys kind of like this perspective, in my opinion, just like possibly what another person's use case is. I'm in the tech field I'm on Teams call, so the camera is good, similar to what was on the M4 line series, and yeah, we'll see how the M5 MacBook Air does. That'll probably be my daily driver instead of M5 Pro or M5 Max.